Hi, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to our on-demand webinar, 7 Steps to Turn Your eBay Listings into Conversion Machines. This presentation is for eBay sellers who want to turn their listings into high-converting revenue drivers and how implementing certain listing improvements can unlock significant sales growth. My name is Bronwyn. I work in product marketing here at Webinterpret, and I'm joined by Noemi, our senior
Hi,
product
Tom.
manager. Hey, Noemi. She's brought compliance and advertising to life at Webinterpret, and now she's focusing on improving the customer experience across the Webinterpret platform. So if this is your first time joining us for a webinar, you should take away this one thing about Webinterpret. Our goal is to accelerate global sales for online sellers. Our solutions are tailored towards domestic and international selling on eBay, but we'll be focusing on the changes that you can make to your domestic listings today. If you're interested in learning more about expanding internationally, we can absolutely help you with that. We're experts in that domain. We'll provide instructions for getting in touch with our team at the end of the presentation. We'll just jump right into our 7 steps today, and along the way, we'll cover what not to do, practical strategies, and quick wins that you can implement immediately. And at the end, we'll share some information about our domestic acceleration solution for eBay, which can effectively help you apply a lot of the tips that we discussed today across your entire inventory. And to make it even sweeter, we have a special promotion prepared for first-time plan subscribers. So you can try our domestic accelerator at a reduced rate. Okay, over to you, Noemi.
All right, so let's get into the first step. And honestly, one of the highest leverage things you can do today is your listing title. eBay search algorithm with your title to decide where you appear, and buyers can scan titles in milliseconds to decide whether to click. So you only have 80 characters, make every character count. Let's make sure you're spending them wisely. So if we look at this first example, Nike running shoe black size 8 new, at first glance, it seems fine, but it's leaving a huge amount of visibility on the table. No brand model. Nike alone covers thousands of products. No part number. Serious buyers search by SKU or even by style code. And new waste characters that goes in your item condition field. So now look at the optimized version. That's the same product, but it's discoverable by model name, style code, and size. It's completely different search reach. So what we can advise you to do, we can share with you the framework we advise, which we can call the golden formula. Basically, brand plus model style or plus item type plus size fit plus color plus condition and specifics. It can vary, of course, depending on the category, but it gives you a repeatable structure that covers the signals eBay's algorithm is looking for. Front load the most important keywords. The first 60 characters are always visible. Beyond that can be cut on mobile. And we know that 66% of eBay's GMV comes from mobile buyers. So this matters enormously. Right for the search engine and the buyer simultaneously. If a buyer wouldn't type it in the search bar, it doesn't belong in your title. No fluff. Words like amazing, messy, wow are not only useless. eBay has stated they can reduce your click-through rate by up to 4 times. That's not a small penalty. No duplicating item specific. Don't use characters to say new or free shipping. Those fields exist for a reason and your title space is too valuable. No all caps, no punctuation, no emojis. These are not searchable characters and they hurt readability. And of course, never use false keywords. Adding Nike to a non-branded item is a policy violation and destroys buyer trust.
Okay, so our next tip is all about item specifics. I want to get into what item specifics are. So We know this section contains descriptive keywords that tell your buyers about your item, but it can't just serve the same purpose as the description section or the title. It serves like a much more behind the scenes purpose. Item specifics help you create structured data. It informs eBay search of your listing's relevance to a user's query, and how your items relate to other products on eBay, and pulls your listing out during filtered searches. It helps external search engines like Google gather a better sense of your products. Google scrapes eBay structured data to understand what your product is, and all this comes from your item specific section. So, the more complete your specifics are, the higher the chance your eBay listing shows up when someone performs an internal eBay or an external Google search for your products. Um, so, why is this so significant? Well, according to eBay, over 40% of buyers use filtering when they're searching for products. And filters pull from data that is filled out in item specifics. It's also very mobile friendly. So, we know as consumers in 2026 that mobile devices are the drivers of instant shopping, but our screens are only so large. So mobile users are more likely to use filters to find exactly what they want to buy. But there are also different types that you should know about. So when you actually start creating a listing in eBay, you'll notice that each specific has a tag or a label that tells you how required it is. And these may vary depending on the selling category of the product. So the first tag is the required tag. You can see that in our example here. These specifics have to be filled out, non-negotiable. And then we have the recommended tag. This is probably the most important to pay attention to. It's not a mandatory tag, so many sellers are tempted to skip it, but actually, filling out these recommended item specifics can be the deciding factor in whether someone discovers your product in a filtered search. So, recommended item specifics are also ordered by how often buyers will filter by them. So, eBay is actually telling you which recommended specifics to prioritize filling out. And lastly, you have additional item specifics. So you want to be filling in as many of the recommended filters as possible. So there's a better chance that they are matching the filtering that is being done by your buyers. So a good rule of thumb is to think about what makes sense to fill out and what is easiest to fill out and what eBay is telling you to fill out. So don't leave anything on the table when it comes to getting discovered, but also don't overthink it and don't make up anything that isn't true. If an item specific doesn't apply to your particular item, just leave it blank. Don't fill in does not apply or not applicable. Buyers aren't searching for does not apply or not applicable, so it will never serve your listing's purpose of getting discovered. And then, yeah, for manufactured goods, electronics, media, even clothing, the manufacturer part number, MPN, the universal product code, UPC, those are really powerful. Make sure you're filling these in as well, even if they're an additional type of specific tag. They're going to be really useful for your buyers. And I want to leave you with one more stat. eBay reports that sellers filling in at least 7 item specifics perform over 2 times better than those with just one. So if I've imparted anything on you today, it's to fill out your item specifics. And back to Noemi for descriptions.
Now let's talk about, for me, the part of your listing where buyers actually make up their minds, your description. So most sellers underestimate the power of a well-written description. They paste in a messy block of text, throw in some capital for emphasis, and call it done. That's a real missed opportunity, both for conversion and for trust. So if we look at the before description here for the Nike shoe, aggressively written, threatening tone, no structure information, no returns accepted under any circumstances is mentioned. This alone is going to make buyers close the tab. The after versions reads like a confident professional retailer. It answers every question a buyer might have before they even think to ask it. So before you write, understand that there are actually three description types on eBay and each serves a different purpose. So you have the description, the desktop description, your full rich listing, most space to work with, use bullet points, clear sections, and complete specifications. Then in the second, you have the mobile description. If you don't provide one, eBay will auto-generate it, and it may not represent your listing well. Design for mobile first. Over 60% of eBay transactions touch a mobile device. So avoid complex HTML, tiny fonts, or anything copied directly from other websites that carries over messy code. And the last one, the meta description, the short preview that appears in Google, Bing, and social sharing previews. It determines whether someone clicks through from outside eBay, so don't ignore it. Even though you filled out all your item specifics, as Vernon was mentioning, restate the most important ones in the description. It's really important. Many buyers scroll straight past the specifics box and go directly to the description. If the measurements, model number, or key features aren't there too, they'll assume you don't provide them. Conditions stated clearly at the top, it's really important. A short product narrative about why is this item great, what problem does it solve, or one or two sentences is just enough. Key features in bullet points, scannable, factable, specifics, it's really key. Exact measurements for clothing, bag, and furniture. This is a top reason for returns when missing. Exactly what's in the box, list every included item and call out anything that's not included. Materials and care instruction where it's relevant. And finally, your shipping and returns summary. Reinforce the confidence signals from your listing. We will discuss about that also in another moment. Over-communicating flows builds enormous trust. It's always better to lose a potential sale than to receive an item not as described return. It hurts your seller standing and costs you return shipping money. So that's my part regarding description. Now over to Bronwyn for pricing strategies.
Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about pricing strategies. Pricing is a tricky one. Your strategy is simply not going to line up with everyone else's, but we've put together some general rules that we notice not enough sellers are taking advantage of and what can make a big difference in your performance. So, first, the biggest mindset shift that you can make today is to stop pricing for the top line sale and start pricing for your net outcome. So calculate what your break even point is by factoring in the item cost, packaging, shipping, and eBay's final value fees. You'll also want to add an advertising buffer into your price if you use promoted listings. Sounds simple enough, but here's an example of what this looks like in practice. So let's say you sourced a brand new pair of Nikes, our example here, at an outlet sale for $60. You decide to list them for $125. And you're thinking, great, that's $65 in profit. But let's factor in the actual net outcome. So you have your $60 item cost. eBay takes, let's say, $18 in final value fees. Your actual profit is already down to $47. And now let's factor in advertising. If your ad rate was set to 10%, that's another $12.50 gone. So suddenly your $65 in profits is actually looking more like $35. If you had calculated your net outcome before listing, you would have realized that to hit a stronger target profit, you actually needed to price those shoes closer to $160 or $165. You have to bake those other costs into your baseline so they don't surprise you at the end of the month. And tip number two, make sure that when you're sourcing other eBay listings as references or for sources of inspiration for pricing, look at listings that have actually been marked as sold and not listings that are currently active. Active listings are a trap because those items could be sitting and sold for any number of reasons. You need to know what buyers are actually checking out on eBay, and your comparison needs to be against listings that are confirmed to be successful. So always filter your search results by sold or completed items. And third, if sales are slow, you should include a best offer option on your listings. If you go for this option, you can even set your listing price maybe 10 to 15% higher than your target and see what happens when the offers come in. If an offer comes in that's lower than expected, you can counter with a higher amount. You and the shopper can negotiate until you agree on a final sales price. But I think we can all agree that at least there's a sale to negotiate about. And lastly, take advantage of seller initiated offers to target your listing watchers. You can send them a small discount, maybe 5 to 10%, and time your offers for evenings or weekends when buyers are most commonly active on eBay. A good strategy might be to wait for 2 to 3 watchers to accumulate before sending an offer to create a sense of urgency. But also make sure you don't wait too long before sending an offer. You want to grab your listing watcher's attention before someone else does. And here's what not to do. Do not, under any circumstances, engage in a price war with your competitors because there's no winners in that kind of battle. Instead of being the cheapest, focus on having the best photos, the most complete title, description, item specifics, and an excellent feedback score. Everything that we're talking about today. Buyers will pay a slightly higher price to a seller they trust and who checks off more boxes for them instead of just relying on the price alone. And over to you, Noemi, for our next tip.
Yeah, already the step 5, which is shipping and returns. So I want to reframe how you think about this because most sellers treat them as a cost center, but the best sellers treat them as a conversion tool. Look at these two Nike shoes examples again. The before listing charges $10, flat shipping, and accepts no returns. And the after offers is with free shipping internationally with 30 days free returns. It's the same product, but completely different buyer confidence level and a higher asking price that still converts better. So, what it really means for you. High shipping costs are one of the primary drivers of cart abandonment across all e-commerce, and eBay is not different from others. Free shipping removes friction at the final decision moment. So don't forget also that free shipping is a filter criterion in eBay search. Listing with free shipping appearance results when buyers apply that filter, and many do. So you're literally removing yourself from consideration by charging for shipping. A 30-day return policy is non-negotiable if you want to compete. eBay's algorithm heavily favors listing with a generous returns policy. It directly contributes to search ranking and sales volume. I completely understand the instinct to say no returns. It feels like protecting yourself, but it actually signals risk to the buyer. Confident sellers stand behind their product. A 30-day return policy says, I know exactly what I'm selling and I'm happy for you to verify that. If you sell high volume of lowered priced item, manually handling every return request is a drain on your time, and sometimes the cost of processing a return is more than the item is worth. So set up return automation in your eBay Seller Hub. You can configure rules that automatically accept returns, refunds buyer, and waive the return shipping requirement for items below a certain threshold. This protects your seller metric with eliminating the admin burden. Set your handling time to 1 business day, same day if you can manage it. 3 days is the absolute maximum. It's a strict requirement for top-rated seller status, which comes with a significant fee discount and a trust badge that improves conversion. Buyers increasingly expect Amazon level speed, so meeting that expectation on eBay is a genuine competitive advantage. I let you with the step 6.
I know we're almost getting towards the end of our 7 steps. So we want to talk about images now. Um, okay, so the most visual part of your listing, your photos. When you're selling on eBay, your buyer can't pick up your item, hold it, test it out. So your photos really have to do all of the heavy lifting. Um, yeah, and like there are three massive jobs that really they're responsible for. So your images have to build immediate trust, they have to answer the buyer's questions, and most importantly, they have to justify your asking price. So if your photos look cheap, the buyer is going to expect a cheaper product um, and a cheaper price. eBay gives you a generous 24 photo limit per listing. You don't need to use all 24 photos every single time, but you should be aiming for a minimum of 6 to 7 images, distinct photos to give the buyer a complete 360 degree view. But volume doesn't matter if the quality of your photos is poor. So the bare minimum on eBay is 500 by 500 pixels. You should always aim for your photos to be at least 1600 by 1600 pixels. This is because buyers love to zoom in on images to absorb all of the finer details. If your photo pixelates when a buyer zooms in, they're going to lose confidence and bounce to a competitor's listing to see if they can satisfy their objective. Um, Next, it's all about staging. So think background, angles, scale, a busy background like a messy bed or a cluttered desk or like a dark garage. This instantly lowers the perceived value of your item. It's subconsciously telling the buyer that the item hasn't been cared for, and they'll have trouble picturing what the product looks like in their own natural environment. So keep your backgrounds clean, well lit, and neutral. And eBay does have a background removal tool that can help with this. You also need to keep category specific tips in mind. So if you sell electronics, show the ports and the screen turned on. If you sell fashion, show the tags and the stitching. If you sell shoes, show the soles. Your buyers want to feel like they're picking up the item and physically interacting with it. And just to touch on the scale, even if you have the product dimensions indicated in the listing information, buyers want to gather a visual sense of the scale as well. So put a recognizable object or a ruler in the frame so they can absorb the relative size of the item and can make a quicker buying decision. And lastly, show your flaws. A lot of sellers try to hide a scratch or a dent, but documenting your flaws is your best defense against item not as described returns, which is what we were just talking about previously. So when you highlight a flaw up front, you build massive trust with the buyer. They know exactly what they're getting. And this protects your seller rating and saves you from eating up return shipping costs down the line. Okay, over to you, Noemi, for our final tip.
Yeah, the final step, so advertising. So to start setting up advertising on eBay is definitely really game changer. But for that, you need to ask yourself the right question before starting using it. Basically, you need to think about what is your primary business goal towards using this service. So for that, we invite you as well to go through our Help Center articles because we have nice materials regarding this question and how to approach it to identify what can be your business goals and how you can think about using promoted listing on eBay and how to set it up basically towards these goals. So this will help you definitely to define which advertising services to use, the cost per sale model or the cost per click on or outside of eBay, and also for which budget, because it's important also to think about the different options you might have regarding the ad rate or also regarding the daily budget if we are speaking about the cost per click. And one thing that we wanted to emphasize as well is one of the biggest mistakes that we see that sellers are making when starting to pull campaigns. They are just thinking that launching a promoted listing campaign, it can take up to 1 week and that's it. So they're basically launching a campaign, check it after a week, see that the data is not really there, and stopping immediately the campaign. That's leaving performance on the table, honestly. eBay's advertising system has a 30-day learning period. So during that window, the algorithm is building a performance model for your listing. And if you can sell before the model is not mature enough, you never see the real results out of your campaign. So our advice is to set it up, monitor, of course, but don't set it and think that after 1 week you can already expect some results. And don't panic if you don't see any results after 1 week. Think about this 30-day learning period.
That's a really good one as well because it's really tempting to pull out before the end of the full 30 days. Okay, so that was our 7 tips, and just to wrap it all up, we wanted to really take you through. We wanted to show you definitively this listing example we've been using throughout all of the 7 tips, and to show you a quick before and a quick after of how much information we generated over those 7 key features of a listing. So feel free to, if you're watching this, to pause and to take note of of all of the detail in every section. It's quite a big difference before and after. So we want to offer our final thoughts. The 2 main things we want you to take away is to always optimize for a good customer experience. Put yourself in your ideal customer's shoes and think about what would improve your experience if you were the end user. And the second thing is automate as much of your workflow as possible. So we're living in the AI era now. There's a lot of listing optimization tools and services at your disposal to help you enhance your entire inventory. So you're not spending hours on each individual product listing. You can, but we don't advise it. So yeah, work smarter and not harder. And on that note, we'd like to just take a couple of moments to preview our domestic accelerator solution, also known as a growth plan. So just like we talked about today, sellers need to do 3 things well. They need to rank higher in search by doing a number of different things to their listings. They need to keep the customer engaged, and they need to advertise correctly. So the growth plan automates all 3 of these across your entire inventory on your domestic eBay market. So we wanted to do a quick overview of each service. So starting with AI listing enhancements, Webinterpret has developed 2 features to capture more sales and rank higher. The first is recommended products. So when activated, shoppers viewing your listings will see more related products from your own inventory displayed in your product descriptions. While eBay will show recommendations from across its platform from other sellers, recommended products keeps the recommendations in-house to increase your cross sales. It's fully automated, so you can just toggle them on and off. And next we have item optimization, which analyzes and optimizes your eBay listing titles along with your descriptions, desktop, meta, and mobile, which we talked about today, to help you rank higher in search results, attract more traffic, and convert more buyers. So we use real-time search and buyer behavior data to generate recommendations, but you have the power to review them, edit them, and apply them to your listings in just a few clicks. So this is a great tool. There's no manual keyword research or SEO required. Our automation gives you the ability to access fast and effortless optimization for, again, your entire inventory. And yeah, we're just so excited about this service in particular and the impact that it's having on our seller community. The team is continually dropping new features to give our users more control and more visibility over their optimization preferences and results. And actually, there's a few big upgrades we're rolling out shortly, like improvements to automation, a revamped listings page, and a brand new analytics view.
So as Brandon was saying, advertising optimization is also part of our growth plan. And this is one of the key services that we can advise you to use. Basically, our system is optimizing ad spend to lower the ACOS and maximize profitability, not just impressions. So also with our system, you can just create automatically and manage automatically as well the different promoted listing services available. So general, priority, and offsite. And you don't have to configure each one manually. You will just give us your preferences in terms of markets on which to advertise and your daily budget, and we will manage it for you. We will also completely select the items for you also. So we are the top performing products will be identified based on performance and conversion data. And thanks to that, you will not waste your budget on listing that won't convert. We are going also to adjust campaigns on an ongoing basis to stay effective, depending on the market, the competition, and the seasonality as well. And of course, you will get also data-driven guidance on the ad spend for you to stay in the loop and keep insights from us. And finally, of course, you will be able to monitor all of that thanks to the performance tracking. So everything is visible in one dashboard. You have all the metrics, the usual metrics, ACOS, impressions, clicks, and you have full visibility without needing to manage the complexity. And also, you will be able to compare your national results compared to international ones if you are also using us for international markets. The last one that we also talked about regarding the services that we have in place is an additional add-on that we are proposing with the growth plan, which is the free returns. So as we were saying earlier, is a conversion signal. So a 30-day policy tells buyers you're a confident and trustworthy seller. So the free returns add-on with growth plan is really important, and we really advise you to take it. It covers both domestic and international. It's using, so we generate and send return shipping labels on your behalf. You don't have to create them manually or chase the buyers to initiate the process. No extra cost for eligible labels. The logistic of processing a return are handled without you incurring additional per label fees. And for international returns, custom paperwork is handled automatically, which is one of the biggest friction points in cross-border returns. So the manual overhead of processing returns at scale, especially internationally also, is significant. This add-ons converts that overhead into automated flow. For high volume sellers, the time saving alone often justifies the investment, definitely.
Okay, so I think we're at the end now, sadly, but as promised, to help you get started on your listing optimization journey, we wanted to invite all new first-time users for Webinterpret domestic services to enjoy 50% off of our domestic Accelerator solution for your first 2 months. And this actually, so as we mentioned, all the services, it includes the returns add-on as well. And the instructions for activating the service are going to be on this page below. And that's all. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you at our next event. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.